Hello, this is Mark Smith with Family Tree Counseling Associates. And I have written a blog earlier today, beautiful fall day, and I was in this little park in downtown Indianapolis. You'll have to look at my blog, Relationship Jazz, and it had a sculpture of a little boy with his dog. And the dog looked sort of beagle-ish. So again, Google Relationship Jazz, you'll find my blog. But I was there with my dog, my beagle, Mr. Polly. So I had a picture of a boy with a dog and a boy with a dog. I took my picture and put it on the blog. So I had a story sort of stirring around in my belly, and I'm gonna mainly read the blog today. A little tight on time. My son's coming home early from San Francisco for a visit, and I don't really have a bunch of time today, but I think I have a message that's going to be pretty powerful. The title of the video today is called Redemption via Monsters, Narcissists, Predators, Vampires, and Sociopaths. Sort of a provocative title. Redemption via Monsters, Narcissists, Predators, Vampires, and Sociopaths. I'm gonna get a little personal. I hope I make it through the video without crying. I cannot promise that I will be able to. A little bit raw of a topic for me. I'm constantly bombarded with victim-y emails complaining about a narcissistic husband or a sociopathic wife, and usually that isn't the case. Usually people are just counterdependent or codependent. They're not full-blown monsters. And I try to get people to shift their focus off the monster and onto their own family of origin issues, because that's the only thing you can fix is yourself. And of course we know that there are no victims in relationships. My goal is to get this message out of my belly and onto the airwaves of the redemptive power of the wounds caused by nasty, dangerous people in the world. I didn't realize the world could be as nasty and dangerous as it really can be. And I found out in sort of a difficult way to find out, but nasty, difficult people can be many times your very best teachers. My friend, and what I call my teacher, Pilar from Atlanta, recently shared with me that she had to thank her former partner for all the lessons he had taught her, and then let him go in peace. As long as you're connected with somebody in anger and bitterness, you're stuck. You cannot really move on. If you're stuck with them in unforgiveness, then you stay enmeshed with your tormentor. So I'm writing you, and I'm sharing on YouTube with you, my listener, my reader. But I have to confess that I also wrote this blog for my own healing as well. I'm struggling, as many of you know, with more pain I ever thought could possibly exist in one human life. There's a balance, a very fine balance when it comes to forgiveness. You must own your own responsibilities in setting yourself up, in attracting your particular monster, narcissist, predator, vampire, sociopath, or just plain mean-ass person. You invited them into your life. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't bad karma, and it certainly wasn't you being victimized. You invited somebody who was so wrong for you that they were right for you into your life, and they ultimately showed you who they really were. You were attracted to them because they are made out of the very same psychological DNA that your parents were. The universe brought them to you to bring healing. I know that sentence, the universe brought them to you for your healing, it sounds like bullshit, it sounds like psychobabble, but let me explain it. We can't deeply heal the wounds at our core until our psychological walls have some very huge holes bored into them. So romantic love, it's not so much about healing us, it's about destruction. Romantic love is about making you friggin' miserable and knocking down your psychological defense mechanisms. Then you have the opportunity to heal and to cry and to learn. A genuine recovery process always begins with pain. Pain. Don't come to my office looking for tools. Come ready to embrace your pain, or you're not ready. A genuine recovery process begins with the destruction of huge chunks of your psychological defense mechanisms. Pain is horrific and it's awful, but it's the doorway to growing and healing and many blessings that I'm going to elaborate upon. So most of you know I've been healing for the past almost 5 months now from a rather violent collision with a particularly dangerous monster, narcissist, predator, vampire, sociopath, whatever you want to call her. And I don't say that to malign this individual at all, or to triangle to you, or to play the victim role. I'm sharing from my experience to help you and bring encouragement to you and healing and wisdom. That's the thing, one of the blessings that you can get from your pain, from your wounds, from your blows to your life is wisdom. And every week I get 1 or 2 emails from people thanking me for coming from the heart and not trying to be some fancy expert. I'm a human being who just went through a really traumatic experience, but I do have some wisdom to share. And if you'll open up your mind and heart, and if you're in a pained position in your life where you were abandoned or ruthlessly got your ass kicked by some monster, then listen up, and I think this will help you. A couple of quotes come to mind. I've been glad to not listen to a therapy book here recently. I've listened to so many, and it just regurgitates my issues. Sometimes you got to pace yourself with this work. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So many of you are familiar with the series from Sweden, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Of course, the author has died, and they've got a new author, David Lagerkrantz, and the new book is called The Girl in the Spider's Web. I don't know if you guys know, but it's been out for a little while. And he writes very eloquently about Lisbeth Salander's sister, Camilla. And she's a monster. She's a narcissist, a predator, a vampire, a sociopath. And he's Michael Bloomquist is interviewing a woman who was the foster mother of this Camilla, this twin sister of the hero Lisbeth Salander. Badass individual, my hero. And she said, when Camilla first came into our lives, it made us all happy. It made us all better, and the family was coming together. But the longer she was in your life, she made it so you didn't want to live anymore. That's what monsters do. In the book, this 16-year-old shows up and is sweet as pie, but proceeds to just eat people alive psychologically and blackmail them. And the husband and father commits suicide, and the daughter follows in suicide not long after. And it's interviewing the foster mother, and she's explaining, the longer this person, this cancer is in your life, the more that you don't want to live. Has anyone felt that kind of trauma, that kind of pain? I'm humbled to report that in my experience, I've been pretty damn close to seeking the escape of not wanting to harm myself, but just wanting the pain to go away. Because the pain of being in love with somebody that dangerous is so monumental. And many of you don't know what I'm talking about, but many of you do. So this is for the ones who understand. When your supposed best friend and lover and fiance of 6.5 years announces that, hey, I've got a double life. I've been involved with another man the whole time. And I'm actually going to choose him over you and banish you completely from my life without so much as the respect of a conversation. That's sort of what I've been dealing with. And again, I'm not a victim. I needed to pick somebody this ruthless in order to heal. I've been listening to M. Scott Peck's book, People of the Lie, and he said that the outstanding trait of somebody who's evil is they can't really own or investigate their own issues. What they do is they become masters at scapegoating the people closest to them rather than own and deal with their own issues. So they blame, they shame, and they put the responsibilities for their problems off on other people, and they walk away with self-righteous superiority, self-deception, and arrogant smugness. So people that M. Scott Peck calls evil, that sounds, I don't know, a little bit harsh to me, but it's one of these monster people that I'm referring to. What they do is they find a way to turn things around, and it's not about me. I'm not the bad guy. It's that other person, and they don't own their own stuff, and that is evil. That is really destructive. In my situation, it felt like there was this secret enemy of my soul psychologically who had a gas can and a lighter, and she lit me on fire. And then when I went to screaming, she said, you know, that guy's crazy because he's screaming. But I was lit on fire. And she'd sort of sold her psychological posse, or actually the treatment center that she was at, that, you know, the real problem wasn't that she was a sex addict, but that I was crazy and that I was the bad guy. Due to some very deep abandonment wounds from very early in my infancy, this is who I needed to love me. My friend Pilar said she's depressed by my blog because why is love that way? Why do you pick people who are like your parents? But this former person in my life, this monster, would not have had the power to hurt me had I not recruited her. I handed her the gasoline can and gave her the lighter and asked her to light me on fire many times. So our pain and the safety or lack of safety in our relationships is really not about other people. It's about our choices. And they still hurt so deeply that it feels like almost like there's a physical wound. I've shared with you guys that one of the things I do is I go for pretty frequent massages, and I had one on Thursday and cried through most of that one, and had one today and didn't really cry that much, but I did cry. I always cry when I do body work. So life and relationship, it really is about our choices, but it feels like there's almost like a physical bleeding wound in our heart that never stops hurting. After 5 months, though, it's getting better for me. So, and I've heard this from a million people. It takes time. It'll get better. I'm like, yeah, screw you, Time's going slow. But they're right. I know I'm getting better. Had a situation this week where I've been playing basketball and I'm not doing very good because I go play and there's this big ball of fear in my chest. And I'm already twice as old as most of the fellas and 3 times as slow. And then I'm only playing at about 30% because I can't concentrate because I'm thinking about bad stuff and fear. But I went Wednesday, and I know I'm getting better because I didn't have the ball of fear. And for some reason, I was making baskets, and we were on this team that didn't look very good, and we were just killing people. So that just really gave me encouragement that without fear and with confidence in life, you can kick butt. And I've been waiting for that. Wicked, dangerous monsters, narcissists, predators, vampires, and sociopaths, they don't have the power to destroy you. On the contrary, the lessons learned at their hands can actually be blessings very, very, very much in disguise. My friends, coworkers, and recovery buddies have shared with me that they see beauty in my soul. So, some of you from YouTube land and from blogging, I guess, reach out and tell me the same things. Due to shame, I have a hard time seeing it myself, but that beauty in my soul didn't really exist before the work that I've done these past 5 months. And I know that my work on these difficult issues has produced a spirituality. When you're in this much pain, you go to praying. And I certainly have. And it can create a humility and an emotional depth that I know I didn't previously possess. If you embrace your deep pain, it will bring about a wisdom that everyone around you can benefit from. Oh my God, that's pricey wisdom that I've gained. But I do hope it helps you folks out there. I have a new and very profound empathy for my fellow sufferers of trauma of any kind, but especially trauma brought about by infidelity. And I've had several people come in just traumatized, not eating, not sleeping, and man, I tell you what, I can relate, and I can help them because there's an empathy that really offers understanding and comfort. I think it's probably saved some lives even. My run-in with reality has given me a healthy caution that I think will keep me out of trouble in future relationships. I am not going to give my heart to a monster ever again. Another blessing from my catastrophic relationship is I lost 53 pounds. Thankfully, I've gained a little bit back. I've got my appetite back, and I've gained about 8 pounds back, which I feel a little bit like myself again. Relationship pain is designed to give you awareness into yourself that can act as your true north compass that holds you on healthy and fulfilling paths. And I'm grateful for the lessons my former partner has blessed me with. I release her to go in peace. May she find blessing and happiness that I think she is seeking for. So I was telling you that Mr. Pauly and I were in the very same pose as that sculpture of boy and dog. Life is filled with little unexpected jokes. I just got tickled by that. I'd never been to this park before, and I sat in front of it, and there's a little boy with a dog that looks like Mr. Pauly. You got to go to my blog and look at it. Relationship Jazz. It's funny. I believe that I have regurgitated the words that were tumbling around in my belly, and I hope that they've helped you and blessed you as much as they've helped me and blessed me. One of the things in life that I get the most joy out of is writing. And I used to, before I was a therapist, I was a minister wannabe, and I was in ministerial Bible school. And there was this fella this minister who said he done preached himself happy. And what I do sometimes is I write myself happy. And you might say, how in God's name did that dark piece of work make anybody happy? But it did for me, because it's fun crafting words and helping people with words and stringing them together in a way that touches people's hearts. That's fun for me. So it is sneaking up on Halloween. You might say vampires is a little dark. There's a book on narcissism that the author, I'm sorry, I don't have the name of the book, but if you'll look for vampires around narcissism, you'll find it. But he uses that metaphor that narcissists and sociopaths are people who you can compare with psychological vampires. So be encouraged if you've had your guts cut out, you've had your heart torn out, and you're so sad. I'm with you. If I can survive, I hope you can survive as well, and not only survive but thrive. I'm having little windows in time where I'm actually sort of happy and starting to get a little positive mojo. So if you haven't joined our YouTube channel, we're sneaking up on 4,500 people that have subscribed to us, and we're almost at 500,000 views. And that's not a lot for some famous person, but for a bunch of therapists in Carmel, Indiana, we feel blessed to have reached that many people, 500,000 views. If you haven't visited our website, visit familytreecounseling.com, and I have some good books on abandonment issues. There's one on shame that shares from my pain and my experience that will help you. There's even one on affair recovery before I really had the knowledge of the fact that I was, going to be one of those people who suffers from that kind of pain. So, God bless, folks. Thank you for watching the video. Enjoy your Sunday. Looking forward to seeing my son, watching Dallas Cowboys play. Be careful with monsters and narcissists and predators, because they're out there and they're looking to just be themselves. They're not looking to seek you out and harm you. They're just being consistent with their very nature, and it's up to you to protect you. If you don't protect you, nobody will. So I hope this has helped you. God bless.